ಅನುದಿನ ಅನುಕ್ಷಣ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಕಲಿಯೋಣ. ಕಲಿಕೆಯ ಹೊಸ ಹಾದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜೊತೆಗೂಡಿ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ ಹಾಕೋಣ. ಸಂತಸದಿ ಕಲಿಯೋಣ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ.
Yes, sir. Yes, teacher. Present, ma'am.
Good morning, viewers. Hello, how are you? On the drawback of this corona, most of our educational activities have been held up. Even though we have started some of the things to reach the students by different things. Dear children, in this episode, we shall go to the 7th lesson of 3rd language English of 10th standard. The unit name is SOHRAB and Rustum. Dear children, you get ready your notebooks and textbook and all other materials that could help you to make notes and necessary points during this discussion. And I hope you are all ready with all the stationeries that you needed. Now we shall move into the unit number 7, part 1. Name of the unit is SOHRAB and Rustum. Dear children, this is a Persian story where father kills his own son. Generally, we know that father loves his son and son loves his father. There will be a close affection and relation between father and son. But in this story, this is exactly opposite. This is a Persian story where father kills his own son. Therefore, this is quite interesting, and the title is SOHRAB and Rustum. Remember, this is not an Indian story. This is a Persian story from your 10th standard, lesson number 7 and unit 1st in this. Now we shall look into the topic. Do you know, children, there are two great epics in India. One is the Mahabharata and one is the Ramayana. Most of the people, most of the children in India have heard the names of these two great books, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. And also they are very familiar with our life. There are many places which are attached and related to these two great stories of our country. And based on this, the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, now we shall go into the introductory activity. And I hope you have heard the name of these two books, the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Remember, children, these two books are related to India. But the lesson what we are going to deal, this refers to Persia, and that's a Persian story. Okay, I will give you a small activity. Dear children, just look at the screen, and here I have given some names. What names do you recall by these blanks? See, I have given here total 5 words, and of them 3 are blanks and 2 are filled. Dear children, now the second one I have given for your information, and the fourth one is also given for you. See that second one is Bhima and the fourth one is Sahadeva. Based on these two characters from the Mahabharata, because just I referred the names, the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Now, based on this Bhima and Sahadeva, can you refill the other 3 blanks given here? Can you remember the first one? First one maybe what? Then the third one. This third one, the name, this belongs to younger brother of Bhima, and the last one is the youngest brother of the Pandavas. So these 5 names, they belong to the 5 Pandava brothers, the main characters in the Mahabharata story. Now we shall verify your answers. See, the first one is there, no, that is Yudhishthira, first blank, and the second blank is already given, that is Bhima, and the third blank is again, this is Arjuna, and the fourth one is Sahadeva, and the fifth one is that is Nakula. Dear children, we shall go into another activity here. So look at the picture, and this is the most familiar picture or the weapon. You know this. In olden days, this weapon was used during the battle. And nowadays also, when you go to any fair or jatras, there you will find the children playing with this type of same model in the plastic. See, who do you remember here? I am not asking the name of this weapon. The name of this weapon is mace. And here my question is, who do you remember? Suppose if you come to know this picture, definitely one or two names will come to your memory. See that? I repeat the question once again. Who do you remember looking at this picture? So in this picture, there is a weapon. See, I just help you. See, when you look at this picture or the mace, which was very popular in the Mahabharata story, even in the Ramayana also, you will remember at least some 2 or 3 names. The first and the foremost name, do you remember, looking at this is, that is Bhima. At the same time, when you remember the name Bhima, immediately another name is attached to that, that is Duryodhana. And when you come to Ramayana, in Ramayana also the same weapon was used, and that was used by Anjaneya or Hanuman. So when you look at this weapon, you will remember certain names as Bhima, Duryodhana or Hanuman. See, another question is there. Now look at another type of weapon here. See, there is a bow and some rows. So arrows are there and bow is there. See, bows and arrows. This is another type of weapon used in our olden days. Now also in modern films, you can come across the use of this type of arrows and bows. My question is, who do you remember? So when you look at these weapons, in the earlier picture we had mace, and in this picture we have bows and arrows. So who do you remember? When you look at this weapon, definitely some names will come to your mind from the Mahabharata, at the same time from the Ramayana. See, when you come to the Ramayana, the great character in the Ramayana, that is Rama and his brother Lakshmana, they had this type of weapon in their hands so that they could reach the target at the distance. And also when you come to Mahabharata, there are two great personalities. They have the same weapon here. So one is Arjuna, a great hero of the Mahabharata, and also is a close competent, that is Karna. Karna and Arjuna, they were expert using this type of weapon. So now we shall move to the next one. Who do you remember looking at this weapon? So children, you carefully observe. There is a dagger, there is a knife, and also its cabinet is there. Dagger and its cabinet is there. When you look at this, can you remember one particular name? Is it possible to remember one particular name looking at this picture? No, definitely it's not, because this type of dagger was frequently used by many people. Therefore, you cannot particularly mention one name with this. So now we shall take up this dagger in our discussion, and we shall go to the next part of this. Say, this is a story, SOHRAB and Rustum. And in this story, SOHRAB and Rustum, we come across the use of dagger, not in this episode, but in the little later episode. So the name of the lesson is SOHRAB and Rustum. You keep your textbooks open. At the same time, look at the screen also, so that you can cooperate both textbook as well as the screen. And also you listen to my explanation, what I give here. See, before going into the topic, we shall go with the new words. Just you note down these new words in your notebook. First one, chase, C-H-A-S-E. C-H-A-S-E, chase. Second one, vein, V-E-I-N. The third one is warrior, W-A-R-R-I-O-R, W-A-R-R-I-O-R, warrior. The fourth one is fair and wide, F-A-R, fair, A-N-D, and, W-I-D-E, wide. And the fifth one is gratify, G-R-A-T-I-F-Y. The sixth one is beget, B-E-G-E-T, beget. The seventh one is eager, E-A-G-E-R. And the eighth one is lapse, L-A-P-S-E. So these are the new words they come across in your textbook. Suppose if you know the meanings of these words, that will definitely help you to understand the entire lesson so that you can answer the questions when they are asked. See, now we shall go deeper discussion with these new words. The first one is there here, chase. Its meaning is follow or pursue in order to catch. See, chase, C-H-A-S-E. Now, I have used this word in two of the sentences. See, first one is, my friend chased a deer in the forest. Here, chased is there, means he followed a deer in the forest. The next one is, the dog chased my sister in the street. When my sister was running in the street, a street dog ran after her. So here, chase means follow or pursue or go after them. This is the first word. Now, based on these two sentences, you prepare one more example or one more sentence using the word chase with the same meaning. Second one is here, vein. So vein means here nerve in which blood flow. We call it as blood vein. See the sentences here. There was a block in the blood vein. So this block, it causes the heart attacks among the people. Second sentence is here. The girl tried to cut her vein in wrist. So she tried to make one attempt to cut her vein in her wrist. See, third word is here, warrior. Warrior means one who is expert in war. One who goes for the war is called warrior. One who participates in the war is called warrior. One who tries to kill somebody in the war is called warrior. See that two sentences here. Rustum was a great warrior. Rustum was a great warrior. Many of the people are working as Corona warriors. This Corona warriors is a new word. Recently you have got this. Many of the people are working as Corona warriors. Means they are struggling to prevent this disease, Corona or COVID-19. We shall go to the next word here, fair and wide. Fair and wide means in all places or in all directions. See, fair and wide, the meaning is in all places, means everywhere or in all directions. See that we shall take this word fair and wide. It's a phrase in a sentence. The name of Netaji spread in fair and wide during freedom movement. Everybody knows the name Netaji, Subhash Chandra Bose. So the name of Netaji spread in fair and wide. It means it spread in every direction. Another sentence is here. There is a demand for Corona vaccine fair and wide. So everybody, they want this vaccine. The next word is here, gratify, means please someone or somebody. So when we make somebody happy, this is called gratify. I try to gratify my teacher by doing homework in time. So when you do the work allotted in time, then everybody will be happy, especially your teachers. Next word is here, beget, means become a father or mother or give birth to a child. So it's called beget or begot. So that we are all eagerly waiting for the reopening of the school. Then the world is eagerly looking for Corona vaccine. See that eager is there, very much interested in. We felt happy when my mother begot a baby girl. So begot and eager, these are the next words. Lapse is there. Lapse means temporary pause or failure. So when something stops in between or in the middle, that is called lapse, or when it ends up or when it terminates, it is called lapse. So that agreement got lapsed, means the agreement failed or the agreement time was completed. After a lapse of time, I went to meet my friend. So after a long time, I went to meet my friend. In this way, there are some new words from this lesson. Now, we shall go to the lesson in brief discussion. The important characters they come across in this story are, one is Rustum, a warrior. Second one, chief of Turan. The third character is Tahamina, daughter of the chieftain. The fourth one is SOHRAB, a baby born to Tahamina. So there are four important characters in this lesson or in the story. One is Rustum, a Persian warrior. Second one, chieftain of Turana. Turana was a place, it was a kingdom, and for that kingdom there was a king, and he was chieftain of Turana. The third one is Tahamina. Tahamina, she was the daughter of this kingdom of Turana. She was a princess. And the fourth character is here SOHRAB. In the beginning of the story, SOHRAB was a small child, infant, and he was the only son of Tahamina. So Tahamina, she was a daughter of the chieftain of Turana, and Tahamina's son was SOHRAB. So these are the four important characters: Rustum, chieftain of Turana, Tahamina, and SOHRAB. Now we shall go into the main points of the story. See that Rustum was a great Persian warrior. He was expert in doing many wars. He was expert in conducting the wars, and he had a great legacy of the winnings. So he won most of the wars. His name was popular in far and wide. So in all the directions, everybody, they knew his name. So he was a very popular man, Rustum, and he was expert in doing the wars, and he defeated most of the enemies. So such a Rustum, he was expert in war and a great warrior. He had no fear of enemies. So surrounding his kingdom, everybody was defeated by Rustum. Therefore, he decided to go far and wide. Because his name was popular in far and wide directions, even Rustum also wanted to extend his kingdom. At that time, there was another kingdom near this Persia, that was Turan. So chieftain of Turan invited Rustum to his kingdom as a token of friendship. So Turan was a small kingdom, and Rustum's kingdom was very big one. Therefore, this Turan, the king of Turan, invited Rustum to come to his kingdom and to stay for some days. So as a token of friendship, Rustum agreed, and he decided to go to this small kingdom, Turan. In picture you can observe here, the chieftain of Turan is eagerly ready to invite his friend Rustum, and as per the agreement, Rustum comes to Turan's kingdom. There, after coming, Rustum and Turan, they spoke something, and the chieftain was very happy to invite him. And this chieftain of Turan told him, Rustum, why don't you stay in my palace for a couple of years? See, the request is here. Nowadays, we don't stay anywhere for a couple of days or couple of nights. But in those days, traveling was not so easy. It was much more difficult. Therefore, this friend, chieftain of Turana, is asking Rustum, why don't you stay in my palace? So he is requesting to stay in his kingdom, in his palace, in his house for a couple of years. Couple means 1 or 2 years. Better Rustum, you are much tired of all the wars, and you are continuously was busy in doing this war. Better you come and stay in my palace for a few years. And similarly, Rustum also agreed for this. So Rustum agreed to stay in Turan for 1 or 2 years. In the meanwhile, this chieftain of Turan had one very beautiful daughter, and Rustum married his daughter and spent some happier days with her in Turan only. So in this way, Turan spent some of the years in, Rustum spent some of the years in Turan with his daughter, because they got married and they spent some happy years in the small kingdom. After that, Rustum immediately remembered his kingdom, his army, and his administration and his people. Therefore, he told, yes, I spent some happy years in this small kingdom Turan, And he told his wife, "Dear Thamina," Thamina was Rustam's wife. She was the daughter of chieftain of Turan. "Dear Thamina, I must go back to my army now." See, he is telling, he remembered his place, he remembered his country, he remembered his house. Now he is telling, "Dear Thamina, I must go back to my army now, and I do not know when I would return." Now he is telling, "So your father invited me as a token of friendship. I came here and I spent some years here with you and I married you. But now I can't give any guarantee that I don't know when I would return back to this place. Keep this seal with you for our baby." And he knew that in future, if Tahamina gives birth to a baby, then as a mark, as a symbol, he gives one small seal, he gives one small token to this Tahamina and says here, "So you keep this, and when our baby is born, just you press this token or seal on his arm." Saying this, Rustam left his country. So Rustam told his wife Tahamina, "If a son was born, bind this seal to his arm. If a girl was born, put this seal to her neck." See that how he is telling here very clearly. See, by the time Tahamina she was carrying, and Rustam could not stay in that Turan till the baby was born, because he must go back to his country. Therefore he said here, so when son is born, better you put this seal to his arm. And if a girl was born, then you put this seal to her neck, so that I can identify he is my son or he is my girl, looking at this small seal. Thus he gave one small seal to Tahamina and he left his country. So Tahamina gave birth to a lovely son, but she sent Rustam a wrong message that she begot a girl, fearing that Rustam would not return at all to her at Turan. So she put the seal on the newborn baby's arm. See, Rustam went. After a few months later, Tahamina, she gave birth to a lovely son. She gave birth to a male baby. And Rustam told both the conditions. If a male is born, put the seal on his arm. And if a girl is born, put the symbol to her neck. But here, she gave birth to one son, but she sent the wrong message, so that because if he knew that son was born, then he would not come back. If he knew that the girl is born, then he would come back. So this is the first part of the story. Now here some sentences are there, some statements are there. Just you look at them and you say true or false. If they are false, correct them and rewrite the statements. Now make use of your notebook and pen. The first one is here, Rustam was a farmer. See, once again, Rustam was a farmer. This statement is not correct. So Rustam was a warrior. Just you remove the word farmer and there you put the word warrior. So the first sentence is false and you write and correct the one. Second one here, Rustam married Tahamina at Turan. Rustam married Tahamina at Turan. This is a correct sentence. So no changes are made to this sentence. It is a true sentence. Third one is here, Tahamina gave birth to a girl child. Recall the story once again. Tahamina gave birth to a girl child. So this is again a mistaken sentence. This is a false sentence. Here, Tahamina gave birth to a male son or male baby or male child. The fourth one is here, the seal was put on the arm of the baby. The seal was put on the arm of the baby. This is a correct sentence because Rustam told two conditions. If male was born, put the seal on his arm, and if a female was born, then tie that seal on the neck. So here she put that seal on the arm of the baby. This is a correct one. Now we shall go to the answers here. The first one is a false sentence. See, Rustam was a farmer is a false sentence. Now the correct sentence is he was a warrior. Second one, Rustam married Tahamina at Turan. It's a true. The third one here, Tahamina gave birth to a girl child. It's a false one. And she gave birth to a male child. The next one, the seal was put on the arm of the baby. This is a correct statement. See, now we shall go to some more simple questions here based on the comprehension of the lesson. See, there are some questions here. The first one is here, who was Rustum? Simple questions here, just to recall the explanation. Who was Rustum? The second one here, who invited Rustum to stay with? Who invited Rustum to stay with? The third one is here, who was Tahamina? Who did she marry? See, the third question is, who was Tahamina? Who did she marry? So these are the three questions here. So these are for comprehension. So far you have learnt the lesson, SOHRAB and Rustum. The three questions here. First one, who was Rustum? Second one, who invited Rustum to stay with? The third one, who was Tahamina? And who did she marry? So I think now the answers are rolling in your mind. See that. The first one we shall go with. First one is here, who was Rustum? Rustum was a great Persian warrior. Children, note down in your notebook the first question here, who was Rustum? Rustum was a great Persian warrior. You can watch the small map of this Persia. Rustum was a great warrior of Persia. Now we shall go to the second one here, who invited Rustum to stay with? Rustum was a great warrior. He was very familiar. He was popular in far and wide. But one small kingdom invited Rustum to his friendship as a mark of friendship, as a token of friendship. See, the question is here, who invited Rustum to stay with? The answer is here, the chieftain of Turan invited Rustum to stay with him for a couple of years. The chieftain of Turan invited Rustum to stay with him for a couple of years. The next question is, who was Tahamina? Who did she marry? Who was Tahamina? Who did she marry here? Tahamina was the daughter of Turan, chieftain. So Turan had a small leader or the chieftain, and the chieftain had one daughter and her name was Tahamina. Tahamina was the daughter of Turan chieftain. She married Rustum, a Persian warrior, because Rustum stayed in their kingdom for a couple of years. At that time, this chieftain of Turan requested Rustum to marry his own daughter, Tahamina. So Tahamina married Rustum. Rustum was a great Persian warrior. Thus, so there are some questions. Now we shall go with some vocabulary work here. See that words starting with letters M, P and B, they take this type of one here. See, you note down all the words. See that possible, impossible, pure, impure, patient, impatient, balance, imbalance, mortal, immortal, material and immaterial. See, now another question is there. What did Rustum say to his wife before going back to his army? You read the text, discuss and write the answer for the question with your friends and show to your class teachers. So dear children, I hope you got the idea of this lesson, and this is R. Satyanarayan, English teacher from Government High School, Sriranagar, Taluk Gangavati, District Koppal. I hope you got the lesson. We shall meet in our next episode. Thank you.
ಅನುದಿನ ಅನುಕ್ಷಣ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಕಲಿಯೋಣ, ಕಲಿಕೆಯ ಹೊಸ ಹಾದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜೊತೆಗೂಡಿ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ